The loonie was trading just over 68 cents US this morning, falling to its lowest level in more than 2 decades. Everything from Bitcoin to the Mexican peso fell, and worries about a trade war are also hurting US stocks. The S&P 500 sank 1.7% in early morning trading, following similar losses for markets across Asia and Europe. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell more than 500 points. The shock this morning comes in response to Donald Trump's tariffs and a major shakeup in the tech space last week with the release of Chinese AI chatbot DeepSeek. Joining me now to unpack the shaky markets is Brendan Caldwell, director at Caldwell Securities. Brendan, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Theresa. If only we had something to talk about.
Now, last week we had the release of DeepSeek. What exactly is it, and why did the NASDAQ lose $1 trillion?
Well, so two questions. I'll do the second one first. The second one is, it seemed for a minute that somehow the Chinese had a massive breakthrough in creating AI that would render what America's done either obsolete or overly expensive. So the idea that all of a sudden you could do AI for 100th the cost of what America thought it would cost really hit both NVIDIA, which is the big chip stock, but also so much of that industry. So, I mean, there was a big hit there. What is DeepSeek? It is a version of ChatGPT, and that's literally what it is. It's a white-labeled version, as far as I can tell or understand, a white-labeled version of ChatGPT, which had been largely lifted off American technology. So I'm not sure it's quite what was advertised, but the shock of the market that somehow for $6 million, the Chinese had managed to replicate and surpass what the Americans had done, I think might have been a bit of an overstatement.
And what is the importance of chips in all of this?
Well, I mean, NVIDIA is the big chip maker for artificial intelligence, for AI. And they have been restricted as to what they can sell to China in terms of the really high level chips. Now, it was surmised, and may in fact be true, that some of the most high-tech chips were sold to China with incorrect labeling. That's a possibility. One way or the other, though, I don't think the technology was developed homegrown overseas. Rather, I think it's roughly the high-tech equivalent of a Gucci knockoff bag. It looks the same, it sounds the same, and that's probably because it was a copy of what has already been done. But this is, as the analogy suggests, nothing new for the Chinese market.
And how can investors handle stock market corrections like this?
Well, don't have all your money in just one sector would be the simplest one. Even if you have been a big investor in AI or any other sector, I mean, AI happens to be the flavor du jour. It was Bitcoin and blockchain, and it was cannabis, and it was the internet. Always the enthusiasm takes these things to extraordinary levels. So if you have all your investments in just the one thing, even having all your investments just in stocks is probably a mistake for most investors, because there's lots of other things that are worth doing as well. But to the extent that you have your money diversified, not panic too much. I mean, from I guess we're going to be talking about next, all that DeepSeek thing was merely a preamble to what happened the following weekend.
Now, I do want to move the attention over to tariffs. So what do these new tariffs mean for Canada? What can be learned from these tariff negotiations? And what should Canada learn as a country?
Well, I think you're taking your last question first. I think it dovetails neatly into the same sort of principles when investing. We have so many eggs in the American basket. It's no wonder the price of eggs in the U.S. is so high right now with inflation. And now with these tariffs, so the price of maple syrup will be going up too. I think it's going to be very expensive to have breakfast in the United States of America. But what does it mean? If we have a diversified source uh, uh, to send our products to, not just America, and it has been, as I think the clip just previous to mine, our Premier Doug Ford, or Terra's Premier Doug Ford, was talking about how it's the largest trading relationship in the world. It's the trading relationship between Canada and the United States is the largest trading relationship that's ever existed in the history of the world. What can we learn from this thing? I've said on this program that one should take Donald Trump seriously, but not literally. I do not think he wishes to bring down the world economy. I don't think he believes he's going to bring down the world economy. Um, I do think that he would like certain concessions from his trading partners, and perhaps by showing the rest of the world, this is how tough I'm going to be with my friends. Imagine what I'm going to do to you that wish America ill. Mexico and Canada, we do wish America nothing but well. Other countries don't. So maybe he's making a broader political statement that's beyond just our country.
Now, we do just have under a minute here, but I think what a lot of people are confused about is, won't these tariffs also impact American shoppers?
Oh yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying is that if they put tariffs on everything coming from Canada, it means our maple syrup's going to be expensive, and energy, which has a reduced tariff in theory, but we are the single largest supplier of energy by multiples compared to any other country on earth to the United States. Donald Trump has claimed, I think, in that clip that America is entirely energy self-sufficient. They've got more than they have by fracking and drilling in national parks, but it's not quite the same thing as being totally energy self-sufficient because, again, so much energy comes from Canada, and what we supply is quite inexpensive. It really drives the American economy. So yes, it will make things more expensive for Canada, for the United States, I should say, if this goes through as articulated.
Well, Brendan, as always, thank you so much.
Thank you.